Hey, I'm Maria back with another video, and it is 11:36 a.m. Saturday morning, July 21st. I can't believe how fast this time is going. Anyway, I wanted to make a video about my experience as a victim of gang stalking and human trafficking. And basically what I wanted to do, I went through a few of my videos and I kept thinking, just some of them I reviewed and I listened to one of them, and I kept thinking, well, this isn't really getting to describe what my experience was. It is bits and pieces, but you'd have to listen to everything and kind of know me as a person to even understand exactly or relate to how my situation went. So I'm just kind of do a quick video kind of summarizing what I experienced, how I caught on, and then how I eventually confronted it. But, generally when you are a victim of human trafficking or gang stalking, which are very similar, you'll notice a bunch of coincidences, and you don't think about it at the time. Like I remember, something would happen at work, and now I remember getting phone calls, from people that I knew, and kind of going in that direction of what happened at work. So, but you don't pay attention. You think everything is a coincidence, because you might talk about a TV show that you were watching at work, and then next thing you know, you're talking to somebody and they're talking about the same thing. You start realizing after a while, but it took me a long time to catch on, a very long time. I thought some of the people that I knew were just as intuitive and almost psychic or something. I didn't think about it, but you'll notice a lot of coincidences. Okay. Also, you'll notice that your group of people that you usually talk to or associate with, or communicate with on any level, I guess, start to become less and less because something is going on. In my case, I have been kind of bullied a lot throughout my entire life, okay? This started when I was a kid. And often I would like to also mention that sometimes people who are related to you can get the ball rolling in terms of human trafficking, and oftentimes they are. In order to make something like this work, they have to get the cooperation or instruction by people that they perceive to have some sort of authority over that particular person. For example, sometimes people in strict religious families, and I'm not talking about the regular general religion, I'm talking about some religions that are very dominating towards women, for example, they might, even though this woman's an adult, they still might force her to adhere to certain ideals or beliefs that she doesn't want to do as an adult. So they will put in a situation in place to force her to live a life that she doesn't want to live. And most of the times when they do this, in a lot of cases when they do this, I should say, that it's not for the woman's benefit. Sometimes it's extremely psychologically terrorizing for the woman, because sometimes it's meant to be abusive, meaning it's meant to be something that is putting her into a state of subordination to where she has no freedom and she can't leave, okay? And sometimes physical abuse is also a part of that. So in order to have full control over a person, sometimes people do use that sort of abuse for a person. In my case, it was a group of my family initiated it originally, and then of course I got employers involved in it. So sometimes you end up working for an employer, and like for example, when I first started noticing like a weirdly strange, almost like this intense hatred for me that was going on in my workplace back in 2008 and 2009, I was working in a location that was not anywhere in the vicinity of where I was living in, okay? I was commuting back and forth to work almost an hour and a half a day, hour 45 minutes or something like that a day. So I kept thinking, I never thought for 1 minute that there was any connection between these people, like my family, and the employer that I was working for. But apparently there was, okay? So it's basically that you have this network of people that you're associated with, but you don't know that it's this big of a network. They are all interconnected. They talk to each other, they know each other, and they communicate with each other in some way, okay? In my situation, I had made an appearance on Facebook back in 2000. Yeah, I think I opened my account in 2008. And, people started kind of talking about me and over a picture, okay? A picture. I'm assuming, and the reason why I'm assuming, I understand that these people are involved, okay? But I don't know exactly what prompted it. Was it the employer contacting my friends, or was it my friends contacting my employer, or was it all, I don't know, okay? But just rest assured that when you're going to this situation, that there is some sort of tie-in with your family, with the people that you know, and I mean they encompass everybody. When you're talking about this issue, they talk to everybody. It's almost like it is kind of like an illegal investigation. They want to inquire things about you that it's not their right or their position or their business to know about you. Anyway, so I was on Facebook, and I noticed that, you know, and when I first got on Facebook, it was okay. It was okay. It was normal, okay? And then I would say like a few months into it, it just kept getting weirder and weirder. Like, you know, I would talk to somebody, and then it just, the communication, even through electronic means, didn't seem the same. And then I would say a few years later, which I rarely got on Facebook, okay? I rarely got on Facebook. I would get on every once in a while after work because I was kind of stressed out at what was going on. So it was a way of me to escape, right? But what I didn't realize is that the people who were causing the problems at work, what was going on at work, were the people who were basically on Facebook. So anyway, it's basically a network of people that are all interconnected. Like your family's involved, your employer's involved, but they will never tell you. They will never tell you directly what's going on, you know? And sometimes human trafficking is a way to, they use it as a means to control you or change who you are as a person. Because, you know, people have their personal preferences, okay? And some people are insecure about their personal preferences. And they feel as though their preference of whatever is the superior way of living. So they get a little upset that you're not taking notice of how they are living. So they want to force their way and their opinion on you. And you have no interest. It's not that you reject their particular opinions. It's just that you're comfortable doing the things that you like. This is who you are. But they feel as though they have some sort of say and that you have to do something. And they use direct force, meaning they start controlling your ability to move, okay? They start selecting the jobs that you're going to work. They start, you know, I don't know, little competitive type gossip games that go on in the workplace. And you're not aware of all of the scope of this thing, but you know that something is very strange going on. Anyway, I'm getting off a little bit off the subject, but I was noticing that my relationships, people that I used to know, were, for whatever reason that I could not quite understand, were somehow disappeared, you know. And I understood that, you know, we only kept communication like via Facebook, you know. So it's not like they were like living next door and they were coming over to my house every day for tea and then going back home. It was like a social thing on a continual basis. It's just like, you know, it was just a very awkward, weird interaction. Let's just put it that way. I couldn't figure it out. Okay. So, anyway, I left that in particular employer because what was going on was I was being harassed at the workplace. This is the place that I was talking about, that I was working about in 2008, 2007 to 2009. The mobbing didn't actually start happening till, like, I would say somewhere in like mid 2008. But anyway, so you notice that when you leave a particular place of employment, when you leave that particular place of employment, in my case, I felt as though it was beyond control, because anybody in a workplace mobbing situation, okay, the reason why they're mobbing you is because they are basically, somebody probably gave you the job, okay, maybe one of your relatives, maybe one of your friends, and they don't like your personal lifestyle, and they feel there's something sick and warped inside their brain that makes them feel as though they have to force you, since they arranged the job without you understanding and knowing that they arranged the job. Or maybe they didn't arrange the job at all. They just want to see you as a completely different person. So they are angry at you for living your life how you're supposed to live your life, which makes you the unique person, individual that you're supposed to be. And so they want to harass you, okay? So, which is illegal, by the way. So you decide, well, you know what? I can't make it here. So I'm going to pick my step up and I'm going to go on and get on with my life. And what it is it basically a psychotic anger that gets into these people, and they come after you, meaning they feel as though you slighted them, even though they're the ones who are slighting you. And they basically want to make sure that your life is a living hell from, for the rest of and all eternity. So they will either start selecting your jobs or giving you jobs that are less, because in their mind they feel as though, well, you weren't doing this and you weren't doing that and blah blah, and they're basing it on things that are completely irrelevant. Like, for example, I was working for another employer, and she liked buying out of Hot Look. Okay, now I'll buy off of any website if I think an outfit is cute. My personal preference. Okay, if I think some of these places, I got, you call them, okay, I used to go to JCPenney a lot. I really don't now, but lately, only because money's been tight. But, just whatever place, okay? Like, I know, like about a year or so ago, I ordered a shirt that I saw that flashed in front of my face on AliExpress, okay? And it took forever to get here, okay? But the point is that if I like a particular item, I'll get there. But it almost seemed like you better like Hot Look. You better like the things that I like. You need to change who you are. And that's what I got really upset about, because I enjoy my personal freedom. There is nothing wrong with me. They think that you are just flawed because you are your own person. You are comfortable being with who you are. You like the things that you do. They feel like you're missing out on life in somehow. And they feel as though they need to bring you out of your shell and bring you into this new person that the reason why you are who you are is because you like the person that you are, and you have no interest in emulating anyone else other than yourself. And it's a battle of insecurity. It is. When you force or try to force your lifestyle onto somebody else, it's wrong. Now, there are other people who get involved in this, because number one, a person who started this is usually a person of authority, whether that be that they perceive as authority. I would like to say that if you are over the age of 18 years old, no one is the authority of you. They have no right to dictate what you think, do, or say. Okay, but like I said, you're dealing with a lot of narcissism, you're dealing with a lot of psychotic people, and you're also dealing with a lot of ignorant people. So they will sit here and they will join in. Okay, and pretty soon that little network of people, because you've worked with this employer, you start becoming the talk of the town. People start knowing who you are. Whether you don't want all the attention, you don't like all the attention, but they are insensitive to what you're experiencing. Okay, because they want to prove their point beyond, for any reason. More than anything else, they want to win this battle that they created themselves that you have no interest in playing. And that's basically what it is, okay? Human trafficking is basically controlling the life of another adult and taking away their personal rights and freedoms and forcing them into situations that they can't control. You know what I mean? I have experienced financial difficulties, and in the past, I would say things have gotten a little better. But I will tell you, it can force a person into a very bad situation. If anytime an employer contacts another employer or puts a situation in place, because being blacklisted is something that they do. If you are a target, you will be blacklisted. Now, some people are partially blacklisted, some people are blacklisted altogether, okay? And oftentimes they will say, well, you can't get a job unless this particular person approves it, which is illegal, okay? If you are married, they might say, put your husband in the position to basically rule over you. And this is a very serious issue, and one of the reasons why this happens to women so many times. And a lot of reasons why a woman can't leave abusive situations is because they put these situations in place where a woman basically has to put up with abuse and cannot take care of herself in cases where she may not need to escape that person because this person is controlling all the strings. This is illegal, okay? And you'd be surprised how very little your average human resource individual working at that desk knows, okay? Because this is a very wide problem, okay? And many of these things that are illegal, things like relating to discrimination, basically like religion, race, what do you call it? Sexual harassment, these sort of things that are covered in these guidelines. They're on every wall in a workplace. They are covered in every manager's training. But for whatever reason, when they are confronted with these very issues, they completely ignore it. What makes these people ignore it is because most people are followers and they don't think for themselves, okay? So you cannot really count on HR when you're going through a mobbing situation. You can't do it because in their minds, they honestly think that what this person, this particular previous employer, your mom, your soon-to-be ex-husband, anybody who they think has the right over you is the person that they're going to listen to. They're not going to listen to you. What they don't understand is that is illegal. Okay, so surprise, I mean, I wake up every morning and I think I'm living in a really ignorant world. It's very scary, okay? So basically what it is somebody has gotten control over you. It's probably a spouse, it's probably a family member, it could be your mom, it could be a sibling, it could be even a friend that you used to know, okay? Whatever the case is, it is a stripping away and denying your rights, okay? Because they want you to work at their jobs, they want you to wear their clothes, they want you to do this, do that, blah, 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 you know, all the way down the line, okay? So basically what they're doing is they are trying to control you. That's insane, okay, especially in the United States, okay, which I've already said before. But anyway, it is all illegal, okay, and there are federal and state laws that will protect you, but you need to be aware of it. So anyway, my gang-stalking story. Sorry, I'm trying to be educational and also tell my story at the same time, which gets kind of, you know, sidetracked. But anyway, you'll go from employer to employer, and the same employer, and it's not a coincidence. I thought it was a coincidence at first. Like, I started noticing there was issues going on at my other employer after I left the employer in Chatsworth. And it started off okay working at the employer. I really liked working there. And then all of a sudden, bullshit started happening. And now that I'm looking back, I now see that this particular person, the employer that I left, has been following me. And I just got my AAA card, okay? I just got my AAA renewal in the mail, okay? And I started, I mean, my dad used to have AAA, and when I was living under him, meaning he was paying for my stuff, he paid for my AAA, okay? But as an adult, I didn't have AAA, okay? But the only time I got AAA is when I worked for this particular employer. And since I got my AAA membership from my employer, the one who treated me like shit and ruined my life, yeah, I got AAA through them. And when I left the company, I continued the same subscription. You know, so it's the same account number, same everything. I have the same AAA that I had when I got there. So I just got my AAA renewed, and it said 11th year member, and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe how long these people have been in my life, destroying it, ruining me, hurting me, you know, tearing me up inside, causing all kinds of unnecessary chaos. And that's what they'll do. And why I mention the duration of this time is because these people are so convinced in their warped little minds that they are right, that they will stick to you like glue, okay? It's crazy. It is very crazy. And I cannot believe how long it's been going on. So anyway, basically, human trafficking is a very serious issue. There is a little bit of differences between human trafficking and gang stalking, but they're pretty much the same, okay? It's basically a denial or rejection of your human rights, basically. It is illegal. It is a form of subjugation. It's a form of indentured servitude, slavery, whatever you want to call it, okay? And that's exactly what it is. And that's what it is. Now, people who get involved in it, they don't realize what it is, okay? Because a lot of times when you mention human trafficking, people think of a woman being thrown into a box and being carted somewhere, or a bunch of people, you know, in the back of one of those big trucks where they're all standing up with the bars in it and they're being carted and shuttled from one place to another. That's not what human trafficking is. Human trafficking is basically literally controlling the life of another individual. Some people do it for further corrupt means than what I've been trafficked for, okay? But some people, like you've heard of child sex trafficking rings. Those things occur. Okay, you've heard of prostitution trafficking. People have done that as well. Okay, but even in something that looks from the, just by looking at it, some people might think, oh, it's her ex-employer, and this cute guy's involved, and her family from years ago is involved, and these people from Facebook were involved in all this. They don't see it as the same thing, and it's not really, only because it's not, like the human trafficking, or it's not like the prostitution trafficking. Okay, some people think, well, it's just they feel as though you need to live a certain lifestyle. Okay, and the thing is, I have no intentions of changing my lifestyle, and you have no reason to change your lifestyle either. If you are living your life according to your principles, and you are not hurting anybody in here in the United States or anywhere else, or you're just not harming anyone, you have the right to live your life however you want. Okay, I know a lot of religious groups get involved in this, and I see it from a lot of different angles, because I know that religious people sometimes really want to do the right thing, and they don't know any better. Okay, they don't realize that even God himself doesn't force his religion on people. There's a lot of brainwashing that goes on in human trafficking, and there's a lot of brainwashing. A lot of people who don't ask questions, and they blindly accept who they perceive to have the position of authority. And this is the main problem, okay? And then, even people who now understand what they did was evil, they still have a hard time understanding how they got sucked into it. But I'm hoping that people won't get sucked into it. They'll start asking more questions and recognizing what it really is, instead of the misconceptions, or just thinking that, well, this is this way, but this doesn't have anything to do with human prostitution. It doesn't have anything to do. It doesn't. Okay, but it still prevents a person from exercising their rights to live as they wish. Which, that is the reason why people like America, or at least they used to, okay? Because I know people are getting tired of what's going on in this country, and there's a lot of people who had a lot of respect for this country and now are suddenly wanting to leave. Hang on a second, I gotta someone's at the door.